The judge has refused Kohberger's defense motion to stay the trial. So they're going to continue to have the trial scheduled for October of 2023 this year. That's in less than 2 months, which is wild to me. I honestly thought, there's going to be some issues and it was going to be delayed. But I mean, we'll see. There's always a chance that it could still be delayed for some reason. But the judge is going to have it. So it's set for October of 2nd, 2023. And they're going to have jury selection about a week before. Yeah, that's wild. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. How are you guys all doing today? Claudia, Mariah, Greenheart. Hi, how are you doing today? We have apparently there's a hurricane that's coming through. I think it's hitting San Diego and coming up on its way to LA. So we'll see if we have electricity later on or not. But if anyone's in the LA area, I don't know. If you're in California somewhere, if you're in San Diego, just be careful, I guess. I went to the Japanese grocery store yesterday and the lady was just shaking her head because I was talking to her. I was like, do you guys usually just have like the meat section completely wiped out by now? And keep in mind, I went to the grocery store at like 4 p.m. and she's like, no, people came in here, they bought a bunch of shit and it was only noon. Like, we're going to have stuff tomorrow. So apparently there are some people that are panicking and just buying a bunch of shit. I legit, when I went to Ralph's, I saw this lady with like 20 boxes with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Either her family really loves Cinnamon Toast Crunch and they just have an unhealthy habit of eating it every day, or she's just getting ready for the apocalypse, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Also, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is very disgusting. It's one of the worst cereals out there. The only thing good about that is the aftertaste with the milk that's left over. Stay safe, Corgi. I'm sure it won't be that bad. No, apparently, I think San Diego will get like the worst brunt of it in California. But by the time it makes its like, way up to LA, it should just be like probably just like a lot of like maybe like heavy rain, maybe some heavy wind. But yeah, I don't know. You guys stay safe out there. We'll see. I am very happy though. I do have a gas stove. So, in case if anything, we do lose electricity for a little bit, at least we can cook with a gas stove. But I don't know. I remember hearing about the story when I used to live in the East Coast. There's Hurricane Sandy? Or maybe not her. No, it was when I was in high school. It was a really sad story about like a lot of people lost electricity out there, and this family had a backup generator running, and they didn't know that there was a lot of carbon monoxide that was being leaked out. And so when they went to sleep, I think it was like the mom and the daughter kind of noticed like something was like kind of weird. I'm not really quite sure how. Maybe they felt a little bit woozy. But they were able to get out of the house. But unfortunately, I think like the dad and like the brother didn't make it out, and like half their family died. It was like super fucking sad. So yeah, be careful out there. I don't know. Punish Corgi Nacho. The hell are you talking about? It's probably like one of the worst here. It is. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch is just too effing sweet. The only thing good about Cinnamon Toast Crunch is that after you eat it, you have the delicious leftover the milk, where the milk tastes like almost like a horchata type of thing. So that's really good. But the cinnamon toast itself, it's just too sweet and gross, man. Like honestly, top tier cereals would be Kix, Cheerios, not the honey nut one because that's too sweet, but like regular Cheerios. Now, if you want to venture towards like more on the sweeter side, I don't know, maybe Cocoa Puffs, Fruity Pebbles. Oh no, Cookie Crisp. Oh, the cookie one is one of my favorites. Doing great. You're ready for your trip. Be safe in those weird ass storms. Hey, wait, Mariah, you're ready for your trip. Wait, are you the one who's going to Vegas? Is that you? I have someone that's going to Vegas to get married and stuff. But I thought that already happened. What do you mean no flavor? They have a lot of delicious flavor, okay? It's just very complex, and maybe your taste buds being overrun by sugar just can't taste it or something. Stay safe. Hurricane Fran was a kicker last time we had hers ready. I didn't know that Hurricane's name was Hurricane Hillary. It doesn't make her sound very threatening or scary. It's like, oh, Hurricane Hillary's coming in. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys stay safe out there. Today is just going to be a mild. I'm trying to say mildly short stream. So I want to talk about Kohberger's appearance last Friday. As you guys may not know, he had an appearance on Friday. His defense team and the prosecutor, they've been arguing back and forth about the DNA, about the investigative genetic genealogy. So there was a DNA that was found on the knife sheath that was left behind next to, I believe, to the victim's body. And so this knife sheath was a K-bar knife sheath and had a little snap button on it. The knife wasn't left behind. The knife is, we don't know where the knife is, but the sheath was left behind and the button had the DNA on it. And they were able to, initially when they put into CODIS, which is a system where they run it and to see if there's anyone that's already in their, I don't know, criminal system, I guess, if their DNA's already been in there. And there's no matches. So they had to work with, I don't know, like the private DNA companies, had to work with FBI. And they were able to get a, I guess, like a DNA profile. And when they went to go search at Kohberger's house, this is halfway across on the other side of the state. They went over to Pennsylvania and they dug through his trash. In the trash, they were able to find a DNA, which presumably is his dad's DNA. And that was a match for the DNA that was found on the knife sheath. And when they arrested Kohberger, they found that Kohberger's DNA statistically matched the knife sheath. You know how like when they're doing the trial stuff, it's always like, oh, there's like a 1 in, I don't know, 4 billion chance that it's not Kohberger or something like that, right? And so, oh no, 1 in a billion chance that it is Kohberger, something like that. Like the way they word is a lot more technical and wordier than that. But so they're arguing right now because his defense team, they want to know what was the, how did FBI, how did the police department, how were they able to get Kohberger's DNA? What did they do? What was the process behind it? And the other argument is like, well, does it really matter what we did? Because, you know, Kohberger's DNA matches the DNA on the knife sheath, you know? So they're arguing back and forth about that. We read about the motions on stream. There's been a lot of motions going back and forth. And so there's that. That's what they're arguing right now. The judge is going to decide. Was there anything else that I missed? I might have missed something. I think that was about it. Yeah. And then so the other thing that they're arguing about is that Kohberger was indicted and Kohberger's team are saying they're like, oh, you know, we think we can maybe get this indictment thrown out. So remember, he had a preliminary hearing that was scheduled for like June 26th of 2023. That preliminary hearing was canceled because they were able to do a grand jury indictment and they indicted Kohberger. And so the defense team was like, well, you know, I'm pretty sure we can somehow get this thrown out. So we need to look into this. But we're not sure for now, but can you do like a stay? Like Kohberger hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial or anything, but, you know, can we do like a stay just so like we can investigate this and actually figure out if this indictment can be thrown out or not, right? And so that's what's also what they are arguing. I think initially the judge granted an additional 37 days to the original October 2nd trial date, where it's like, okay, you know, let's grant a stay. And then the defense, the states was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not gonna put the ball in Kohberger's court. We want it scheduled for October 2nd. We have victims' families, you know, we have all these people, witnesses, experts. We have them all scheduled up. They don't want to be stuck in limbo waiting to see, you know, when Kohberger's going to make this trial happen. So we want it to be set for October 2nd. So that's another thing that they're fighting about. Anything else that they're fighting about? I think that was about it. Yeah, DNA, the date. I don't know if it was brought up during this motion or this hearing, sorry. But it was also the Kohberger's alibi as well. I think they did bring it up towards the end. I haven't watched it, but I'm going to watch it with you guys. But Kohberger's alibi. I could have sworn that I heard the defense being pretty confident that Kohberger was going to be excluded from being a suspect of these horrible crimes because they're like, well, you know, he's got an alibi. You know, he's got an alibi. There's going to be some witnesses. And remember, we read the court doc, and it was like, yeah, you know, we got Kohberger's alibi. His alibi, y'all, was he just likes driving out in the middle of the night, you know, 2, 3, 4 a.m., driving by himself, God knows where. And no one was with him. But they said that they were planning on getting some witnesses that can corroborate that. I'm not really sure how. I was thinking like maybe Kohberger also likes to go to Taco Bell at 3 to 4 a.m. I don't know. Maybe get himself a fucking Baja Blast. So maybe they'll have some witnesses at Taco Bell that'll be able to attest to that. I'm not really quite sure. They haven't really mentioned what witnesses that will be able to corroborate, but they're like, yeah, you know, we should be able to find some witnesses. So they're also arguing about that as well. And I really did thought that he would have like a better alibi. Maybe it would be like, oh yeah, I was at my friend's house, you know, my friends can corroborate that. But no, it's just him being out in the middle of the night, driving by himself, and that's about it. Yeah, that's what we're going to listen to. So on Friday, the defense had, I believe it was like 2. There was 2 that I saw for sure. I didn't see a third one, but it was reported there was 3 DNA experts that they had up on there. And the experts went up there to testify to show that like, hey, you know, this whole like investigative genetic genealogy stuff, it's really complex, and it's really important that the defense has access to this information. So they went up there, they discussed, about the, like the websites like 23andMe, Ancestry.com. So it's presumed that, maybe the FBI and maybe the law enforcement, maybe they use websites like that to try to find a ancestry match to, Kohberger and the family and stuff like that. And so they also talked about the TOS of those websites because, some of those websites do not allow law enforcement to have access to the DNA profiles. There are some websites that do, and there are some websites that do allow it. But then, if you want to opt out of it, you could. So maybe, someone submitted their DNA to like Ancestry.com, DNA 23andMe, or whatever it's called. And maybe they were like, hey, I want to be opt out of the law enforcement shit. But then maybe later on, law enforcement in this case was able to find a match, and they were like, even though they opt out of it, who cares? We're just gonna break the TOS. So that's what they're also like majorly really fighting about. Man, there's just so much going on with this case, and we're only at the beginning. We're only like, honestly, I didn't think the DNA thing was going to be such a huge back and forth deal. It was just like, oh, okay, they found his DNA and it matched the one in the knife sheath. Okay, well, that sucks. But yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, and it's wild. So I'm actually really surprised that the trial is still scheduled for October 2nd. But yeah, anyways, so they had 3 experts that went up there to talk about the TOS, how complex the investigative genetic genealogy is, blah, blah, blah. And so I believe the judge is going to make a ruling about that later on. Now, the only ruling that I heard about John Judge, he made a ruling saying that, like, you know what, defense, we are going to deny your motion, and we're going to continue on with the October 2nd trial date. And we're going to do jury selection a week before that. So that's where we are at with this. And hi, guys. let me get a sip of water really quick. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. Buy it and let me know. How much is it? Hi, Doug. How are you doing today? Yeah, chat was telling me, I think the day the episode came out, and I had like a little screenshot. Apparently, they're giving it crap, to be honest, deserved. The way they're handling the footage they took, and the creators reacting to it. Very scummy. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, I heard about with Popcorn Planet, and I think the Umbrella Guy. They reacted to some of the segments from the Netflix doc, and they got a copyright strike. I know Popcorn Planet for sure did. The Umbrella Guy, I didn't watch a video or stream talking about if he did or not, but I think you guys in chat told me about that. But I saw that Osmond Gold posted a react as well, so I wonder if he's going to get a copyright strike. Osmond Gold is like a huge Twitch streamer, plays video games like WoW and stuff like that. And I saw him posting a video about like, oh, Netflix doc is evil, reacting to my scenes or something. So I wonder if he had any issues with reacting to that. But I haven't seen it yet. I feel like there's been a lot of, I don't know, like other mini Netflix, not Netflix, like Depp v. Heard doc stuff or articles, or like even like the movies that they did. I don't know. I haven't watched any of them. Osmond has to fight. Osmond has the money to fight if he wanted to, but he's also lazy. But I guess he can just hire a lawyer to just do all the work for him, right? Because I feel like he'd just be like, you know what? I'm going to hire a lawyer. Okay, you handle all that shit. So, well, okay, I think what it is it's probably just some sort of it's probably one of those things where it's like, I think you probably upload your copyrighted content to YouTube. You say that like, I own this. And by the way, if anyone plays any segments of this, I don't know, maybe there was like a certain time frame or something like that. Like, oh, anything more than 12 seconds, 15 seconds. I'm not really quite sure what the copyright law is nowadays. Give that channel a copyright strike. So it's possible that it was just like an automated thing that picked it up and then gave those channels a copyright strike. But I did see that Popcorn Planet, he did do like a Twitter, or do they still call it Twitter? What do they call it now? Do you still call it Twitter? I know it's called X now, but like if you tweet someone, is it still called tweet? What the fuck is it called? I don't know. He X'd someone, he tweeted them. So I don't know if they responded or not, but it could just be an automated thing that just gave them copyright strike. And then Popcorn Planet, the umbrella company, can, they can dispute it, be like, hey, this is actually my content, and yeah, I'll bring them to court for this. It'll forever be Twitter and Tweeter. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like X doesn't sound very natural. I X'd at someone. I triple X someone. I don't know. All right, y'all. So we're just gonna head right into it. We're taking a break, by the way, today from the sidebar transcripts, and I think we'll probably resume tomorrow. I have to go through the next couple days, go through my notes and all this stuff. And so I know I was going to resume on Saturday and then possibly on Sunday. I said this on Friday, and I do apologize, but Saturday I forgot that I had a bunch of stuff planned. So I did a bunch of errands yesterday. And today, you know, I was like, well, let me just cover the Kohberger stuff, because I wanted to do Kohberger stuff on Friday, but I was waiting for the videos to come out, and they were coming out kind of slowly. And by the time that, like, you know, 2 of the videos came out, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna end my stream. You know, we'll do it a different day. Hi, Gwendolyn. How are you doing today? Hello, hello, hello. I don't know, like him calling it X it just sounds like one of his like Tesla cars. You know how like Tesla has like, he like spelled out like sex, and then like at the end like did like sexy, and like I don't know, it's like all his different products, like Model S, Model E, was it Model 3, Model X, Model Y, whatever. I don't know. I just feel like it just sounds very Tesla brand. Also, wear shirts while cooking bacon. I woke up in the morning with a huge burn on my chest. I didn't even notice it happen. Well, I have chest hair, so I don't have to worry about that, okay? If I want to cook bacon shirtless, my chest hair got me, okay? Grow some, Nacho. You went for your stupidity? That sounds painful. Yikes. Okay. Did anyone notice, though? I was watching this footage of Kohberger when he came into the courtroom. Now, this footage, shout out to Law and Crime. We're not going to watch in its entirety. These are the different experts that will testify. But I was wondering, who was Kohberger smiling to? He walked into the courtroom and he smiled at someone. So I wonder if he's like a family member that's back there, someone that he knows, or is he just smiling just a smile? And there's really no one back there. I don't know. I was like, who is he smiling at? Does anyone know? The plan with X, create everything app, including messaging, payments, etc. Da 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 da. Oh, interesting. I love if we could do a Grimes and Elon deep dive one day. I don't know too much about that. I think the only videos that I've seen with Chris, what's her name again? Is it Christina Grimes, or no? I'm thinking of Christina Grimmie, the one who passed away. Yeah, Grimes is like Elon's is like ex-wife, right? I've seen some videos made by, I think, Sloan. That's like my gossip channel that I go to on YouTube. Apparently smiled at a law and crime reporter. Kind of creepy. He smiled at the Grim Reaper. Yeah, isn't Grimes is like a pop star, right? She's also very young. I think she's like, isn't she in her, when they marry, when they're like in, wasn't she like in her like mid-20s or something like that? Yeah, I don't know too much about her, but they're like divorced now. Yeah, ex-girlfriend, a baby mama. Okay, so I just want to listen to the beginning. Now, the beginning, the defense is accusing the state of not turning everything over. The state's like, you know, listen, we've turned over everything that we can. You know, the stuff that we need to turn over at least. But there's nothing else that we have to turn over. I mean, maybe there's some things we miss, and the judge is like, hey, like, you know, I want to make sure we don't miss anything, because, you know, this is a DP case, and, you know, they don't want to have to go through the appeals and realize, oh my God, like the state didn't turn over this, they didn't turn over that. So the judge wants to make sure, like, you know, everything's turned over. Things that are supposed to be turned over needs to be turned over. And defense is like, yeah, we don't have this, we don't have that. And so they're just kind of like arguing back and forth. So I do want to listen to that part really quick, and I will hit play. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who is smiling over there? Also, chat, you guys are invading my box right here. You're invading my box. So the audio is not the greatest, but at least the judge is allowing cameras in the courtroom. But yeah, the audio is not really the greatest. I might have to sound boost this up a little bit, or a lot. Ooh. Oh wait, is that Law and Crime? Have they finally sound boosted their YouTube videos? Oh, thank you. Maybe they do listen to me after all.
Let's get on the record, please.
I have the subtitles on. The subtitles, I think, are pretty helpful. Wait, phrasing for what? Who said what? It wasn't me. I didn't say nothing.
Court.
So that's John Judge. His last name is Judge. So he's technically Judge. And this is Kohberger, his two attorneys. That's Ann Taylor, public defender. I think maybe this attorney maybe was brought on. I don't know if it's like a death penalty attorney, but another attorney was brought on as well. I don't remember. And here's the prosecutor's table over here. I remember him because he's got a very glorious beard. I don't know if it's still long. I can't see, but he's got a very nice, glorious beard going on. Judge.
Put it flat. There we go.
Okay, and they have this up because, if you are, if you're part of this case, or if you're part of the victim's family members, friends, or anyone who's part of it, they can access through like, I don't know, like Zoom calls or anything. So that's probably why they have this little screen up right there.
No.
Judge, the people's judge.
Your Honor, my preference is that it not focus in on the table where my counsel was holding.
Okay, so angle it this way.
They win.
Good.
Good.
All right.
All right.
Okay, we are on the record. This is State of Idaho versus Brian C. Kohberger, CR.
Can you guys hear the audio? I'm sorry, there's a lot of white noise in here.
29222805. Mr. Kohberger is here in the courtroom. He is represented by the team of Ann Taylor, Jay Logston, and Elisa Massa. We also have representing the state, Mr. Thompson.
So we have Ann Taylor, and I think her name was Elisa.
Bill Thompson, Ashley Jennings,
Bill
Ingrid
Thompson.
Beatty, and Jeff Nye.
Oh, lots of people there.
We have several motions set for today. The state's motions are motion for protective order that is related to the investigative genetic genealogy DNA issue, which is related to the Mr. Kohberger's motion to compel, seeking.
The microphones. Well, so I don't think we have access to the microphone feed. I think the microphone feed is for the people that are on the Zoom call. I think the audio that we're picking up is probably from the camcorder or the video recorder that's picking all this up. That's probably why the audio is so bad and you can hear the white noise and stuff. We don't have access to the microphones, I don't think. That's why it sounds like this. But if you're on the Zoom call, you can probably hear this way more clearly. Wait, really? Increase this volume to 600%. I have a Chrome thing that I'm using. Do you want me to turn it up more? I can. It's just a lot of white noise, but I can turn it up more if you guys like. Here. I just won't talk over it then.
Those genetic genealogy information and discovery. We also have a motion to reconsider the order staying time for speedy trial. There's also in opposing that, a second motion to stay proceedings regarding alleged irregularities of the grand jury. And from the state, we also have a motion to compel notice of defense of alibi and a motion for scheduling order. So that's what we're going to hear today. I think we're
So if you didn't catch what the judge says, there are 4 things I think that they're going to focus on today. It's the state's motion to protect the investigative genealogy stuff. So basically all the background stuff that the law enforcement worked on. How did they link the DNA to Kohberger's family and then Kohberger himself? Kohberger himself, obviously, because they did the cheek swab thing when they arrested him. But that linked the DNA to the Kohbergers. Okay. And then there was a argument between the stay for the motion stay of the trial. So they were going to set the date for October 2nd, but because, the defense, they were like, we need to find out what's going on with, the indictment to see if we can maybe get that thrown out, or what's going on with the investigative genetic genealogy stuff, I guess, too, maybe. And so they wanted to kind of they didn't want to waive the right to a speedy trial, but they wanted a stay. So I think the judge initially granted them 37 days. And then the state was like, no, we don't want that. And then what else was there? What else did he say? It was about, for the alibi thing, the state wants Kohberger's alibi, and they want to know if there's any witnesses that's going to corroborate with that, because they're going to obviously do their due diligence and check on Kohberger, to say if he really was driving where he was, or if there is any other witnesses that did see him, and something about a scheduling order. So I'm not really quite sure. Maybe like to schedule for other future hearings, maybe.
Probably going to use most of the morning with the motion for protective order and the third motion to compel. We expect some testimony from Mr. Kohberger's team, and that's where we're going to start. So anything preliminary, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, and again, so Kohberger has two that I saw, but they said there was 3 expert witnesses that's going to go out there and talk about this whole like DNA stuff and like the genetic genealogy.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Taylor?
Nothing preliminary, Your Honor, we're ready to call it.
Okay.
Okay, nothing
So we'll
preliminary.
do that, and then we'll move to argument from both sides.
Hi, Alma.
I thought about who should go first in terms of the arguments. Mr. Thompson, go ahead.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, who would first make the argument on the protection order? Would you prefer to do that after you hear the argument from the defense?
Hi,
It may
Ray.
make more sense, Judge, to do that. I think the record will be better for Your Honor.
Okay, that's why I suggested that. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so we'll hear the testimony, then argument from Mr. Kohberger's team, and then to the state.
Your Honor, just for the record, Mr. Nye and Ms. Beatty are the ones handling this particular motion. Ms. Beatty has the witnesses, the proposed witnesses, Mr. Kohberger and Mr. Nye, of course, briefed the matter and will be prepared for the argument.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right, call your first witness.
Your Honor, along those lines, I should inform the court that I'll be handling all of the witnesses that we called today. Ms. Mapsoff will be presenting our argument in support of our motion to compel, and probably the rebuttal to the protection order request by the state as well.
Okay, you all might need to remind me as we go along.
Okay, so Ann Taylor's just basically saying that she's going to be the one that's going to handle the witness, and is it NASA? The other lawyer is going to handle the arguments.
Downstairs next to me.
Okay, Ms. Beatty.
As a housekeeping matter, I have some objections that I'd like to put on the record
Okay.
with regard to these witnesses. With regard to Ms. Barlow and Mr. Mercer, the state made its concerns on these 2 witnesses clear in its reply brief filed on July 14th. But the state believes that calling 2 attorneys to testify about legal conclusions during a discovery dispute is simply not proper. Both Mr. Mercer and Ms. Barlow consult with defense attorneys on discovery issues, and calling them to testify about legal conclusions in a discovery dispute is tantamount to the state calling prosecutors as staff witnesses to testify about training that they've done in a specialized particular area. That's a path I don't think we want to go down, and it's not relevant.
You prepared for a dad? Wait, really? Are you in like San Diego or something? Apparently, it's gonna hit LA at like 6 to 7 p.m. So we got another 6 hours.
To the court, and it doesn't fall within 702.
We got rain though and it stopped.
Specialized knowledge for the fact finder, which is the court in this case. Additionally, Ms. Taylor is an attorney practicing in Idaho who's well regarded and seen as one of the preeminent defense attorneys in the state. So there's nothing that these witnesses can tell the court that Ms. Taylor can't simply consult with them about and then argue to the court. So our position is that these witnesses' testimony is duplicative.
So I just want to go over their beginning arguments, and then I'm going to skip over to when they're arguing about the motion to stay trial.
Of whatever Ms. Taylor can argue, and it does not fall within the scope of 702. With regard to Gabriela Vargas, the state is objecting to her testimony as well, Your Honor. We received her declaration just yesterday. There was no CV attached. Ms. Vargas is being submitted to this court as an expert witness, and the state has no way of vetting her expertise without a CV. There is no way for us to verify anything in her affidavit. It puts the state in essentially an ambush position where we're being presented with this witness with no way to verify her qualifications.
Okay, so the state's saying they're getting ambushed because there's an expert witness and they just got their declaration yesterday, but there was no CV attached to it.
we would ask that this witness be excluded from testifying today as well. And then finally, the state would just make a blanket motion in limine that these witnesses not be allowed to testify about legal decisions or legal arguments. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor,
Oh yeah. Almost. It rained here too. It rained for a bit, and then like I think it stopped. But it's gonna. Apparently, the hurricane hasn't hit us yet. We're just getting like maybe like the outskirts of it.
first two witnesses that the state objects to, Victor Barlow and Steve Mercer, are two people who have been known to the state for quite some time. What they say to you in court now is their objection was made known on July 14th in their reply to, in support of their protective order after we did a response to their motion for protective order and an objection to it, that it's not an objection to them testifying. They spent a lot of pages telling the court why the court should not pay any attention to the declarations that were attached to our third motion to compel. So that's not an objection to them testifying at all. These witnesses have been made known for a long time. They were certainly known last week when we had a planning session and we talked about the number of witnesses that were going to testify. No objection was stated at that time either. Waiting until today, when those witnesses have both traveled and been here and been prepared to testify, that's an ambush, Your Honor. They're here, they're prepared. Their testimonies are relevant to the issues that the court has to decide. They're going to talk to the court about two different things as it relates to our discovery rule and the information.
The state is objecting to at least the first two witnesses for sure. And Ann Taylor's like, they've known about these two witnesses. I don't know why they're objecting to them now. They're here. They've traveled. They're already here. And for them to object to this, I guess right now, she just thinks it's like unacceptable.
That Mr. Kohberger is seeking so that we can do our job. Your Honor, you're going to hear from a witness, Leah Larkin, Dr. Leah Larkin as well, and she's going to talk about the process of genetic genealogy. Both Ms. Barlow and Mr. Mercer are attorneys. Both are well-versed in criminal defense. Both are well-versed in DNA and genetic genealogy. The state's position has been that this is not discoverable because we're not going to present it at trial. That's not the end of the story. That's not the discovery rule. And those are the things that Victor Barlow and Steve Mercer will talk about. Victor Barlow has a lot of training in DNA. She does a lot of teaching on DNA as well. It's not a simple little process, and they'll describe what kinds of materials we should have in discovery. Mr. Mercer will talk about what we will do with those kinds of materials and why they're necessary to Mr. Kohberger's presentation, the preparation of his case. They'll talk about our constitutional duties to Mr. Kohberger. Those are not conclusions. Those are things that have to do with this material, these things that we are seeking the court to order the state to hand over to us, and why they're necessary to the preparation of the case. So for those two witnesses, I can make the arguments, but I don't have the expertise in the DNA or the genetic genealogy that the court needs to hear to understand.
Yeah, again, just to reiterate, in case you guys can't hear what she's saying, I don't know if you guys can or not. I have to really boost up the audio, and it's really foggy. But she's basically saying that like without having the information about the investigative genetic genealogy, she doesn't even know where to start. She doesn't even know where to look. So she needs this information in order to even like begin her, I don't know, one of her major parts of her defense team. So that's why she's gonna have the experts go up there, and they're gonna reiterate what she's saying.
Understand that they fall squarely within our discovery rule. Your Honor, I'll speak about Gabriella Vargas now. Her declaration was disclosed yesterday. Much of that declaration has CV-related items in it. It talks about her background, her training, right in the body of that declaration. That declaration is not as soon as we would have wanted that. Gabriella Vargas met with me a few weeks ago, and for personal reasons that I'm not going to put on the record, she was unable to complete that until a later period of time. So that one is,
Okay, and so she's saying that for the third witness that they are objecting, yeah, it's bad that we got the declaration yesterday last minute, but the expert had some personal reasons why they couldn't provide that earlier. But she's also saying that even though there was no like CV attached to it, the CV was in the declaration. So she probably talks about like her I don't know, background, her professional history, education, all that stuff.
I know that one came in yesterday. She's here. She's prepared to be
I haven't looked at it yet.
by the state. And certainly, there are many other remedies besides just excluding her. The court could allow us to present her testimony, and if the state doesn't feel that they've had opportunity to cross-examine her or present a witness in response to her, the court could leave this open and take that up. The court could even order Ms. Vargas to appear by Zoom for further cross-examination. But we should at least let her testimony come out here in court today. She's here, Your Honor.
Thank you, Taylor. Today, in response.
Your Honor, I think Ms. Taylor has just conceded that these attorney witnesses are going to be testifying about the scope of discovery rules. I don't think that that's appropriate. I think that Ms. Taylor can make those arguments to the court, but having fact witnesses interpret the law is not appropriate in a discovery dispute. As to Ms. Vargas, our understanding was that there were 3 witnesses testifying today, and that was our understanding up until yesterday when we got into town. So we would ask that Ms. Vargas be excluded. And I would note that we made our objections to these witnesses clear when we asked the court to disregard the contents of their declarations in Mr. Nye's reply brief. Certainly, we're going to put that same objection on the record. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Well, a couple of things. I'm concerned about these opinions about sort of constitutional law or the procedures of discovery. I think that's fully capable for all of the counsel here, and those are going to be my decisions.
Oh man, the judges. We definitely can't hear from the judge because he's so far away. You've been saying the same thing. He's way too comfortable for someone who's been accused of 4 murders. Dude, I'd be bawling my eyes out. I'm like, get me out of here. I've been falsely accused. He's constantly looking around, making eye contact with whoever talks.
However, in reading through, and I have read through all of the declarations, pointing on specifically genetic genealogy and their experience with that within the law, I think does have some relevance, potentially. And I think that it would go to the weight of the consideration. The other thing that I am concerned about is this is a death penalty case. And if I deny particular presentations that one or the other side believe have some bearing on the case, it's probably more wise for me to allow it, even if it might be on the edge.
So the judge is basically saying because this is going to be a death penalty case, he's going to allow more things than not because he just wants to err on the side of caution because he doesn't want it to come back later on in appeals where like, hey, they fucked up originally. They should have allowed this and they should have allowed that in. So the judge just wants to make sure like things don't get fucked up and, this would be brought up in appeals. That's how I'm interpreting it.
Not allowed that record. It's especially important in a case like this to have a record for appeal. So I'm not saying one way or the other how this might fall, but I think it's important to preserve the record. Now, however, I don't want to get into arguments about the law or what that exactly means. I think I have a pretty good understanding of what the issues are about the genetic genealogy issues and why the state wants to get more information about that. I also understand why the state believes that it has nothing to do with the case. And that's what I'm going to hear from today. And I think it's important to have both sides weigh in on this. Now, with regard to Ms. Vargas, she is here. I don't know where she came from, how far away. I'm inclined to just allow the state to come back and address that.
Okay, so he's going to allow the first 2 witnesses, but as for the last witness, we submitted the declaration kind of late and maybe doesn't have a CV attached to it, even though the defense's CV is in the declaration, like probably in the body of the declaration. It seems like he's just going to let them deal with it later.
Also, file a brief objection.
I have no idea what he's saying right now.
So that's why I landed on all of that. So I'm going to deny the objections. Estimate. Now, if you get too far into this is what the law requires. Okay? Thank you. So call your first witness.
I didn't hear anything you said towards the end.
Your Honor, I made one point of clarification. It occurred to me while listening to the court talking about genetic genealogy and really that being the focus. There are a couple of other areas contained in the motion to compel that have to do with the other DNA that the state doesn't have complete discoveries to us that are included in that for the motion to compel that are up for today. The big focus has been the genetic genealogy piece, but I wanted to make sure that that was still in the scope.
Well, my understanding was that the state did provide all the information about the laboratory, let's say the laboratory DNA that was, that analysis was not related to the genealogy DNA. Am I mistaken about that? What are you saying that they didn't provide to you?
Your Honor, in our third motion,
No, I think so law and crime should up their game with shotgun characteristics microphone. I think it's probably something what the judge allows and doesn't allow. The judge is probably just like, hey, court TV, whatever it is, whoever's doing the recording, you can bring your camera, but don't be bringing anything else that might be distracting. Because I think otherwise they would probably up their game, of course, and try to get really good audio. It just depends on the judge, Like, remember the Letitia Stout case? That one was really hard to listen to because it was all like webcam quality. It was all webcam quality, and we're just like, at least that one though I think had decent audio though. I'd rather have decent audio and crappy video than vice versa. I don't know. I think the audio is just so important. Letitia's frame movie quality. Yeah, I think it's just dependent on what the judge allows. Because I'm sure when they want good audio too. They want good quality too. They want to make sure everything gets picked up. So, yeah, I don't know.
we've had
That's what I'm assuming.
lab discoveries, and that has to do with other DNA profiles found at the scene. They have provided full discovery for the sheet, the DNA found on the night sheet, but not the other 3 unidentified male DNA samples, 2 from within the house, 1 from outside.
Okay, so now Kohberger's defense is asking about the other 3 unidentified male DNA samples that was also found within the house. And I think one was found outside of the house as well.
All right. So if I'm understanding your question there, or your assertion that we're talking about 3 potential analysis of DNA that was not provided to you, but that has no connection to Mr. Kohberger.
Correct.
Any response?
Your Honor, we didn't realize this was going to be an issue today. We had given the defense everything that we received from the lab. They'd asked for DNA workups on other people. To the extent that they don't have them, they weren't done. We can't produce something that doesn't exist.
Okay, and he's saying there's no DNA workup done on those 3 people. So maybe I don't have to just transcribe him, because obviously the camera's closer to the state side, so we can hear them pretty fucking clearly.
We provide everything. There's one outstanding lab report that relates to the forensic examination by the lab personnel at the crime scene itself. We received today. That's the only outstanding lab report. Everything else, along with all the notes, is what there is, and it's been provided to the defense. And they're hoping that there's something else there. It's not there.
Okay.
Ms. Taylor?
Well,
Speaking of potatoes, my family came up from Idaho. They brought me back some potatoes the size of my head. What? If you're at the Discord, I would love to see those potatoes. Post it in the Discord.
Your Honor, as part of our third motion to compel, it's still something that we don't have. We also don't have the unexpected corrective actions, unexpected results from the Idaho State Police Forensics Lab for the 6 months before and the 6 months after November 13th, 2022. We did get some, but it's a narrow scope, and we asked for the full year, 6 months before and 6 months after. That's also in our motion to compel.
Sure. I understand your responsibility is to turn over every rock, but you can't get things that don't exist as well. So, I mean, there has to be some level of trust in discovery. You're all sworn attorneys. And so Mr. Thompson is saying that there's one more lab report that is coming your way today, I heard you say.
Maybe not today. We were waiting to receive it so that we can process it for discovery. It's supposed to be in any time.
Okay, I misunderstood that. So it's coming soon. It has to come soon because we're 6 weeks away from the trial. So
Wow, 6 weeks away from trial. Isn't that crazy, y'all? I guess you can make some French fries, some, there's a lot of things you can make. Oh, make, make what's that dish that I love? What is it called again? Shepherd's pie. Ooh, yeah, make some shepherd's pie.
We're going to be very rushed about a lot of things, but I'm going to talk about that a little more later too. So what about the other claim, Mr. Thompson? Do you want to address that?
Potato
other,
soup?
Mistakes?
Corrective action log, unexpected result log. We have that in part, but not the first one.
I don't know what exists that we haven't received. We provided all the requests to the lab, and they've assured us that they have provided us with everything they have within the scope of those requests. I'm not sure what else to say. I mean, we can make a supplemental inquiry to clarify that after we finish the report today. But I'm kind of sitting here saying, Judge was giving me everything we know to exist.
Well, that would be wise to check on that.
We will.
Because we don't want this to come back on the eve of trial.
Yes, sir.
Or, 4 years from now at an appeal.
Yes, sir.
So we want to make sure that we have combed through all the information that has any bearing or argument of bearing on this case. That's all.
Ms. Jennings is making a note right now. We'll send the inquiry out later today.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, so the recap with that, Ann Taylor saying they haven't given us everything. They're saying, the state is saying, we gave them everything that we have. I mean, maybe I can make some supplemental inquiries to see if there's anything we missed, but we've given them everything that we have. And she's saying, no, they didn't. The judge is like, well, there has to be some level of trust and discovery. Like, you guys are both sworn in, both sides. You guys are all sworn in lawyers, attorneys, so yeah, I don't know. She doesn't think they turned everything over, and they're saying that they did turn everything over.
This circumstance, we also ask for all emails, text messages, or like electronic messages or other messages. Some have been provided, but we don't have assurance that that's all. And so for the same reason, we want to make sure that we have the complete file.
Okay, Mr. Thompson.
We have told them, we have given them everything that we know to exist. And that's the lab.
This guy's like getting frustrated.
Lab provided to us and sent to them. At this point, all I'm hearing is speculations. They think maybe or they wish something else was there. But as far as we know, it doesn't exist. I don't know what else we can say. You can't respond to something that isn't real. Sorry, Judge.
I mean, we're just sorting it out.
Yes.
I'm hoping he does the opening statement.
Sir.
Making sure that everything that there is shared. Except for the ones that you don't want to
Absolutely.
share.
Yes, sir.
And that's one of the reasons we're here.
We'll make an additional inquiry to the lab to see if there's anything else in the form of emails that they haven't already provided to us.
I would add, I mean, there are times, okay, in the world of the law, that sometimes people forget to do things, or sometimes things fall through the cracks, and so it's always healthy to make sure that it's done thoroughly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're already call Steve Mercer.
Okay.
Okay, so now at this point, they're going to bring up their expert witness. I want to skip over to this one right here that Long Cramp uploaded. Judge refused to delay Brian Kohberger's case, locks in October trial date. This one's only 50 minutes long, and I can't promise anything about the audio, okay? Well, let's listen. I'm going to speed it up to 1.25.
I guess we'll start with the state on the motion to reconsider the order setting time for speedy trial. That is also somewhat related to the second motion to stay proceedings. It was filed July 25, 2023. Why don't you go, Mr. Johnson? Oh, no, Ms. Beatty.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're asking the court to reconsider its order, wherein the court issued a limited tolling period, I guess, or stay, specifically for the purposes of extending the speedy trial period by 37 days. And we filed that motion mainly because we're just concerned about the record in this case, and we're concerned that where Mr. Kohberger has essentially stipulated to there being good cause under the statutory speedy trial statute, we're concerned that should he try to invoke speedy trial later, and should the state disagree with that it could create a very genuine issue to be litigated and possibly on appeal. Now, in the defense's reply brief,
Oh, I don't know. Question: will this trial be live stream or will it be re-uploaded the day after? I don't know.
response basically seems to be, well, he didn't waive his constitutional right to a speedy trial. And the state didn't argue his constitutional right to a speedy trial or bring that up because we don't think that there's enough there at this point. That's not to say that if the court were to apply that analysis, it would necessarily come to one conclusion or another. But that was the area of concern for the state, is the statutory speedy trial. And the statutory speedy trial issue is under Idaho Code 1935-01, which provides that a defendant whose trial has not been postponed upon his own application, that their case can be dismissed if they are brought to trial within 6 months. Well, what we had in this case is the defendant filed his initial motion to stay, basically saying, I intend to try to get this indictment dismissed. I don't know how yet, but if the court could just issue a stay and give me some time to figure it out under Idaho Code 2-213, then I'll have time to review the materials and find a way to attack this indictment. That's a litigation strategy. So if the court's response to that litigation strategy was to issue an order stating, well, this statute doesn't provide a basis, but I'm just going to extend trial by 37 days, our concern is that should the trial then get continued based upon the defendant's statement on the record that he agrees that there's good cause, that could really create some issues. It should also concern the court that the defense...
Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm reading your guys' message. I'm trying to listen to her. Beer. Beer's my favorite dish.
doesn't really argue the statutory speedy trial issue in a brief. They just say, well, he has waived his constitutional right. And I'm not... that should concern the court as well. Are they agreeing that he's potentially going to be waiving his right or creating this issue down the road if the trial gets continued? I think it's messy, and that's a concern as well. The other reason that we'd really like the court to reconsider this order is that this very short-term continuance of 30 days used as a tool to give them more time to engage in litigation strategies. It makes it very difficult to have some predictability for the folks who will be testifying at trial, and more importantly, who will be testifying at trial and who will be under subpoena for an extended period of time. If we're telling them, hey, we have trial set on October 2nd, but hey, it might be moved another 6 weeks, so basically block out the next 12 weeks of your lives, and that puts them in a bind.
So again, this is just the same arguments that's made in the motions by the state. Defense wants to have a stay in the trial where they essentially, I think the judge gave them 37 days. So I'm just repeating myself over and over again, just in case anyone missed it. But a judge essentially was like, okay, well, I'll put in a motion to stay trial for 37 days. And the state's like, no, we don't want to do that because this could fuck with, victims' families. Well, not the victims' families, and anyone that's under subpoena to be testifying. Like, instead of having the 6 week that's blocked out of your life, from October 2nd to 6 weeks out, it might be another more additional weeks because they don't know when the trial date is actually going to start.
Certainly puts the court in a bind when it comes to trying to figure out how we're going to bring in a very large number of jurors if we're using this as a tool either once or maybe potentially more down the road. I'm not sure. And I think finally, and this is, I guess, the larger concern is the victims in this case. I certainly wouldn't want to put them on a roller coaster where we have short-term continuances of a trial where we get right up to the date and then it's, okay, well, we're going to move it, but it has to be done within the next 37 days. Because that psychologically, emotionally, and travel arrangements-wise, that is a very difficult position to put these folks in, especially folks who are loved ones of the victims who would be very difficult for them. So we would ask the court to take that into account as well, but really primarily this speedy trial issue and the potential for needless litigation down the road, potentially appellate issues. We would just ask the court to keep trial set on October 2nd, and only if the defendant waives speedy should the court move that trial date. We would ask the court to reconsider this order. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. My understanding is that the defense wants to keep it at October 2nd. So that's I'm not going to kind of piecemeal it along the way.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I mean, the only reason I granted that in the first place is because they didn't have the right to get the grand jury transcripts and materials. They didn't have it yet, and so that was the only way I figured we could do that to let them go through that material, which apparently they now have. So.
What did he say? So I think the judge said the reason why I granted the 37 days additionally is because defense has a right to the grand jury transcripts and the materials. They didn't have it at the time.
Yet, so that was the only way I figured we could do that to let them go through that material, which apparently they now have. So, all right.
I don't know what he said at the end.
Mr. Watson.
Okay, Mr. Watson.
All right, they're arguing. Let's go.
Okay.
Argue time.
So we obviously differ a little bit as to whether or not we found anything off with the way that the grand jury went in this particular case. And I don't think the state probably wants to get into the nitty-gritty on that on the record, so I'll just correct the record in that we disagree when we said that we needed to do some sort of a fishing expedition. We believe that we already brought to the court reasons why that statement could be issued. My understanding of the state's motion to reconsider is essentially saying there's something wrong with this order. My response was, there's nothing wrong with the order. There's nothing wrong with saying that there's essentially a pause on the right to speedy trial. Now, the state says, well, what about the statute? Well, that's a different area of litigation. And we can start litigating it now because it seems right. Nobody has filed a motion to dismiss the case. This court hasn't even moved the trial date. And so if the question is simply, does the order per se the court issued, which essentially is sort of a speedy trial has been moved for however many days, is that going to create some kind of litigation down the line? I don't know, even if the court somehow took it back, that would necessarily change anything, especially given our current circumstances. And I think the court's noted, nothing's actually changed in terms of when the trial occurs or anything else. And so, from our perspective, Your Honor, I guess we should say, I don't think this is right for the court to concern itself with. What does that mean in terms of statutory arrest and speedy trial? Is that something that we're going to have to litigate down the road? Maybe, but I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense for us to get things started. As for the rest of the concerns the state has, I mean, right now, nobody's saying the parties aren't going to be ready to go. So, if somebody at some point does that, then the court will deal with it. So again, I would say a lot of these are hammering concerns that we're hearing. While understandable, I just don't think there's much the court can do about it at this point. Okay. Thank you.
Well, 6 weeks away. I mean, we're all on bus. It's really challenging, no doubt about it. Everybody's ready for it. Great.
6 weeks is challenging, no doubt. Okay.
Okay, your response?
Response from the state?
I think just for, if nobody intends to utilize this order, I guess I don't see the harm in just rescinding it, so that we have some predictability as we're planning ahead. We've subpoenaed many of our witnesses. We're looking at making travel arrangements that would give us some predictability if nobody intends to utilize this order anyway.
Okay, so I think the defense saying that, like, hey, we probably aren't going to utilize, or the court's probably not going to utilize this extra 37-day order anyways. To see, it's like, okay, well, if no one's going to utilize it, we'll just rescind our motion and let's just, what the fuck were we fighting about then? A little confused.
Seems like it would be a no harm, no foul situation to just withdraw it respectfully.
Thank you. All right, before we finish that discussion, I think we should just go to the motion to stay, the second motion to stay, and I think you're going to argue that, Ms. Taylor?
Oh, okay, so now we're going to argue the second motion to stay. Okay, gotcha. I've had Korean blood sausage before. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite thing, but it's pretty good.
Your Honor, I am going to be as intentionally vague as I can. This motion to stay is grounded in Item Code 2-13. This is a very narrow look and something that will justify the court staying proceedings while the court looks into it further. This has to do with juries, a trial jury or a grand jury.
Okay.
In our circumstance, we're talking about the grand jury. We're looking at if there was irregularity.
Oh, okay. So this is when the defense put in a second motion for a stay, and this is because, like, the basically the secret grand jury indictment, where they're like, hey, we don't know the process behind how you guys chose the jury, if they were even qualified to be jury members. On the form, it said this person said they didn't even speak English, and y'all chose them. I think that's what I remembered from reading the motion.
And how that grand jury ended up being the ones that heard the case. We are looking at the way the panel was convened, how the individual jurors ended up being brought in. Was it a public setting? Was it a public polling or calling of these grand jurors? And were these jurors people that had not sat on other juries in that same panel? Your Honor, one of the big areas that we recommend the court stay proceedings and look into is the impact on the number of jurors that were called. The number of jurors that should be brought in into a jury, according to the statute, is going to be dictated by court order. In this particular case, Judge Gaskell, I believe, maybe Your Honor, issued the order for 45 jurors to be brought in. 32 were brought in. We don't know why.
Okay.
I can't find any record that tells me why that happened. But that's quite a few shorter than the court ordered. And I think the court should stay proceedings and look into that.
Okay, so she's saying that, like, hey, you guys originally ordered 35 jurors to come in, but 45 jurors to come in, but only 30 something came in. She doesn't know why. She wants to look into it.
That matters. That matters because of things that happened within the grand jury. I'm not going to go into those now.
Okay.
Those are things that will become, if we can get an evidentiary hearing, we'll talk about those things. Those are also things we'll talk about when we challenge the grand jury indictment itself.
Okay, so they want to challenge the grand jury indictment.
But they matter. There's a reason a court orders 45 grand jurors in to appear to be chosen or selected to be the seated grand jurors in a case. And that didn't happen this time, and we don't know why.
Okay.
There are irregularities on the face of the juror questionnaires. There are some that don't indicate the juror number, the panel number, the wheel number. Those all have to have something to do with the public selection of the grand jurors or the polling and the seating, or they have.
So I just want to pause really quick because I'm just looking at Judge's body language right now. He's like, oh no, he's just like, I wonder if this judge was part of the grand jury indictment. I'm pretty sure, right? It's like the same judge.
That's brought about to those jurors from. I don't know why there would be differences on the face of those.
Why is Ann wearing a mask? If I was representing him, I'd wear a fucking mask.
Grand juror questionnaires.
Or maybe she's not feeling well.
Information. Some had all of it, some had some of it, and one had none of it, including a juror number. Some of those people sat on the grand jury that heard the case. That is an irregularity, and one that we should have an evidentiary hearing and understand if this was a properly convened grand jury to hear this case. Additionally, there are areas that have to be questioned of a potential juror. There are criteria that.
Oh, it does? Okay, grand jury has a different judge. Okay.
In any
I'll look that up. I didn't know that.
grand juror has to meet. Some are the ability to read and speak English. Some are to not have a felony conviction that prohibited one from serving on the grand jury. There were irregularities on the face of those documents as well. The court should stay the proceedings and allow an evidentiary hearing to determine what, if any, impact those had on the grand jury indictment. There is another issue that was part of the sealed affidavit in the first motion to stay, and there are still questions about what impact, if any, that had on the seating of this grand jury. Your Honor, without going into the exact examples of things which I think constitutes an evidentiary hearing, we're asking the court to issue a stay in this case and allow us to have an evidentiary hearing and go into those issues more fully.
Your Honor, the Uniform Jury Selection and Service Act really just governs the process utilized by the court in bringing in a jury, in maintaining juror roles, and in regulating the court's processes. The Act sets forth some pretty specific criteria, but there's a lot of allegations that have been raised by the defense that don't fall anywhere in the Act. One of the things that they addressed were allegations of potential juror bias against the defendant. And I think that's what's really being referred to when we talk about a smaller number of jurors being called in than were summoned. But typically, at least in my experience, court summons in a large number of jurors, knowing that there are people who are going to be excused for one of the permissible reasons in the statute, and there's no indication that isn't precisely what happened in this case. Now, other areas that were brought up were irregularities on the face of questionnaires, specifically numerical information in the upper left-hand corner that was referred to. Again, that information is not required by the statute. There is nothing in the statute that requires a jury commissioner or a clerk to maintain that type of information. And in fact, if the court were to go to the Idaho Supreme Court website and pull the standard jury questionnaire form, none of that information is included on the form. So whether or not that was an internal issue with the clerk's office or the jury commissioner's office, it is certainly not an issue that would require the court to stop this case invoking 2-213. There were allegations about the way that some of these jurors filled out questionnaires. Again, I don't dispute that the jury questionnaires require certain information to be filled out, but it's not, the Act doesn't compel jurors to do that or govern the jurors' behavior in doing that. Instead, the Act sets forth the remedial steps that the court or clerk's office or jury commissioner's office is supposed to take when that occurs, and they haven't even made that allegation, nor have they asserted that there's anything in the other materials that give them reason to think that there were issues related to one specific juror who failed to check one of the boxes. Now, the other thing that came up in that motion was that there were jurors that the presiding judge, I believe, had praised some of the jurors.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, the presiding judge.
For a handful of jurors who agreed to serve despite having other obligations. Again, Your Honor, this is really, really stretching the purpose of the Act. This conduct is not really forbidden by the Act. The Act does not prevent a presiding judge from thanking jurors for their service. this motion to stay should be denied. There certainly has not been a substantial failure to comply that has been alleged. Arguably, there hasn't even been a failure to comply to the extent that these allegations deal with things outside of the act. We would ask the court to deny this motion.
I don't know if they would be fans, but there are some people that just want to be contrarians, or they're just like rage baiters. So they'll say something, just try to like bait other people to get really mad at them and stuff. So, I mean, there could be fans of him too, but I feel like most people are just trolling. Hey, gamer girl.
Yes, Your Honor. Item code 2-208 requires that there be a public drawing for a grand jury. The jury commissioner
Beautiful Messy Ball says grand jury is a completely different process and different court altogether. Imagine rage baiting. Kick. Yeah, you do that a lot too.
is charged with having a random list of jurors and calling the jurors from them. I don't know what other information I could be in possession of at this point without an evidentiary hearing, other than the irregularity in the upper left corner of the grand juror questionnaires, all of them, all 32 of them. There are differences between both. I think that is probably how those are tracked, the random nature of those are tracked, but I don't know. There's not a mechanism where I am going to have that unless we have an evidentiary hearing. So pursuant to the statute, that raises a question. Your Honor, further to statute, the number of jurors was required and ordered by the court to be 45. All of the things that don't fit into the statute, the juror bias, the judge's impact on freezing jurors for staying that had other issues that were pressing them, those are examples of why it matters. We're not saying that there's a statutory subpart that says those very things. We're saying there was a court order for 45. There was a failure. There were 32 calls, and we think the court should find out why and if it matters. Your Honor, we provide examples of why it matters. Your Honor, in item code 2208, subtext, section 3, the missing information. I believe that the form is supposed to be sent back to the juror. I don't know if that was done. I can tell you that there's things that are wrong on the face of those forms, and there's not an indication if they were sent back, if they were ignored. There's a process there, and if it's not done, that's a substantial failure. We're asking the court to please state the proceedings of the.
What are your thoughts on Depp? You heard Netflix docuseries? I haven't seen it yet. I have not watched it yet. You tasted enough blood. I don't know if I could do a blood sausage, but at least tried once. It doesn't taste like blood. Blood sausage, I don't know. At least the Korean one that I had, you don't really taste the blood. Like if you have like some Southeast Asian soup dishes, they'll have like blood blocks. That one, it's a little bit, I don't know. It tastes kind of like blood jello. I don't know how to describe that, but yeah. It's like tofu.
So one of the things that I'm thinking about is just how short the time is we have right now. I looked at the affidavit. It's pretty vague, I have to say. I looked at the case law. I looked at the statute.
Wow, they started at 10:30 and it's 4:30. I wish we could get like the entire footage like unedited.
And
Hi, Jesse.
I know that your team has looked over the transcripts and materials. I know that I believe Mr. Thompson was there. Was here at the time. I don't have that advantage knowing what happened. I wasn't there. I haven't looked at this material. And based on what has been presented, I'm not persuaded that there is a substantial failure to comply with this agenda.
Okay, so the judge not persuaded. He said he doesn't even know because he wasn't the judge there. He doesn't know what happened. Wait, so you're repainting your house? What? Oh my goodness. Have you ever painted a house before? Dude, I wish I could have my place repainted, but it's it's definitely like a higher type of thing. We got quoted like 10 grand and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay.
I just don't see it. I think these are sort of some typical things that you see all the time with jurors. It's not unusual for a number of jurors that we ask to show up don't show up. I don't think it's that unusual. And so
okay, so judge says he doesn't think it's unusual for to request 35 jurors and only 30 something show up. Okay.
Concerns that Mr. Kohberger cites very well could have been corrected with some questions. I don't know. So I'm going to deny the motion.
connecting to
Okay, judge is going to deny the motion.
the earlier sort of order to allow the defense to get the transcripts, give you time to get the transcripts, to get the materials to the grand jury. I think that that purpose has been satisfied. That's the reason I ordered that in the first place, to give you all a chance to look at what actually happened with the grand jury.
So did she get the transcripts or no?
At this point, not satisfied with the standard, finding a substantial failure to comply with the act. I'm going to roll back the original stay, and I'm putting in quotes because
You can't chopper. You already know too much about this.
it was a stay under statute. It was just my idea to try to give the defense an opportunity to be able to file such a motion. After stay under the statute, I don't think this reaches that. So I'm going to deny the request to stay the proceedings under Article Code 2-213, subsection 2, and I'm going to roll back my prior order. As far as I'm concerned, we're starting the trial October 2nd.
You're on Stormwatch with StarCat tonight? Yeah, there's a YouTuber that's streaming. Well, not a YouTuber, but he's actually like a storm chaser. I think his name is like Reed Timmer. I think, is he still streaming? Dennis was watching him earlier. Reed Timmer. I think he's live like right now. Yeah, Reed Timmer. Tropical Cyclone Hillary, Southern California tornadoes. Huge flooding likely. 18K viewers. I think Dennis is watching that right now. But I've heard of his name because I really got into like storm chasing like a couple years back. And there's this other guy that I watched, Hank Picos, which I don't think Hank is. Hank Picos. I wish we would do some live streams. All right, sorry. Distraction.
Free selection. Right now, I think we have trying to put in 1,000 potential jurors. At this point, I'm not even sure that's it. That's what we're at.
Oh, maybe you're allergic to soy?
Next motion, I believe, is the state's motion to compel notice of defense.
So the judge just denied the defense's second motion to stay trial proceedings. That was denied. Now we're going to talk about the alibi. Oh, the alibi, the horrible alibi.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And Judge, since filing of our motion looking at the defense's response, it looks like we've made a little bit of progress. The defendant has at least, Mr. Kohberger has at least now stated that his alibi is he was out driving around that night. We knew that already. And if that's his alibi, so be it. What the defendant has still failed to do is to comply with Idaho Code 19-519 and Idaho Court Rule 12.1 that specifically requires a defendant to identify the names of witnesses who will be called to support the alibi along with their addresses. The defendant has only said, well, I may do that, or I may call witnesses, or I'll do it through cross-examination, and of course I have the right to testify on my behalf. We don't question that. At this late date, I do not believe it is possible, even if the defense were to provide a list of the names of witnesses and addresses today, that with everything else that needs to be done leading up to a week before October 2nd, that there's any way that the state could reasonably be expected to respond with the, as contemplated by the ruling statute. So the state's position at this point is we will accept what the defendant has said, that he was driving around, although he should specify where he was driving. If he's not going to call anybody else, if he's not going to offer evidence to anybody other than himself, then that's none of our business. So we're willing to accept that with an order from this court prohibiting the defense from offering third-party evidence, whether by direct or cross-examination, in support of the defendant's claimed alibi. If he wants to testify to that, that's his prerogative. But at this point, it's too late for the defense to comply with the statute and identify specifically people and their addresses who testify. So that's where we stand now, Judge. Thank you.
All right, clear and right to the point. You're north of San Diego County. We're set to take on some of the worst of it. Yeah. Oh, you're 4 miles away from shore. Be careful out there. Yeah. San Diego is where you guys are going to get, like, I think the level 4 hurricane. But by the time it comes up to LA, I think it's going to be, I heard it was going to be pretty weak.
Ms. Taylor?
Okay, Judge.
All right.
Your Honor, we provided to the prosecutor what we can provide to the prosecutor and more. I think that Mr. Thompson's right. We don't have to tell the prosecutor if Brian's going to testify or what Brian needs to say. We have indicated that it's possible that we would have additional things that might come out through expert testimony and cross-examining the state's expert. I don't have documentation to give to the state today. I am not going to go into.
Look at how intently he's staring at her. They've given Kohberger's alibi, but what they haven't given to the state are the witnesses that are going to corroborate with that. And the state's like, we need that. Like, hello, ASAP, give it to us.
Any more of that at this moment. I understand when October 2nd. I definitely understand that. And I've heard everybody's thoughts and concerns. I get that. But I mean, this is what we have. And when there's more, I will play.
Your Honor, with all respect, that is exactly what the rule and statute are designed to prohibit. As the U.S. Supreme Court observed in Taylor v. Williams, the ease with which an alibi can be fabricated. The defense is waiting to gather up evidence, seeing what they can fabricate to match that evidence, say, oh, by the way, here's alibi now. That is specifically what's prohibited by the statute, by the rule, by the comments of the U.S. Supreme Court, Williams v. Florida. You know, trials are not yet a poker game where players enjoy absolute right to always conceal their cards in full play. And that's what's going on here.
like how Murdoch changed his alibi a little bit and was like, oh, you know what? Actually, you're right. I was down there at the kennels. Oh, I guess I forgot. I forgot that I was down. Okay, sorry.
That's why the rule exists. Just need to cut it off and we'll move forward. The defendant can testify to his own alibi if that's what he wants to do. But it violates the rule, the statute, and the rights of the state to a fair trial to allow third-party evidence, whether by direct or cross.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep like scratching myself because last night I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a fucking bug crawling on me and I freaked the fuck out, dude. Oh my God. I had to take the bug and put him outside, but I was like laying in bed and like I woke up because I felt something like tickling my arm and I was like, oh, what is that? And I felt tickling my arm again. Oh, that's why I could still feel like the bug crawling on my skin. Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, the way I understand this is, and this is in the so-called alibi, not really an alibi, but, quote, he was out driving during the late night and early morning hours of November 12th to 13th, 2022. So what I'm going to do, because the next motion is for a scheduling order, I'm going to address this in terms of the camera. We'll see how that goes. Right now, that is as far as Mr. Kohberger wants to go with regard to alibi. That's fine. But if there is going to be, Ms. Taylor, you suggested that.
But there are people who don't read newspapers. There are people who don't tune into the news. Like, people that I know don't know anything about this case. But we are in California, though. Like, even like California cases, right? Let me think. Is there anything that happened recently? There's just some people who just don't read the news. They don't follow true crime stuff at all. So they for sure will be able to find someone.
I read the Albert case, which was interesting because they were witnesses. The judge refused to allow them to testify, and that case. Yeah, no, maybe it was then there Perez, that was 2021. That was a court of appeals, and they said not a lot. And so, Ms. Taylor, you acknowledge that potential risk to your client who made his response to the request. So there's some potential balance.
Hey, Paris.
States. All right, so.
Right, but not everyone's in each other's business. So there are people just mind their own business. Was it a bed bug? No, it wasn't. It was like a little roly poly or something. Or I thought it was a spider, but when when I captured it and I let it out, it looked like a roly-poly, but I don't understand how roly-poly would get all the way up there. I don't know. I was like fucking half asleep, but I was like, just chucked it out.
I think that takes care of that for now. So we can give you deadlines. So I think the last motion then, again, this motion to dismiss indictment has been pushed out.
Leslie, I don't know who that is. Who's Leslie Houghton?
I don't think I've said it yet, but we will talk about that. But there's a motion for scheduling order. Absolutely, we need scheduling order. Okay, I don't dispute that. Didn't do it earlier because we were dealing with other things, thinking possibly this case is going to get pushed out because.
Oh yeah, Paris. This is the Idaho students university murders. So back in November, 4 students were murdered in their home, and it was like a shared home with like other students as well. And so they were stabbed to death, and he is the main suspect in this case right now. Their trial is set for October at the moment, and we're just doing some like pre-trial stuff right now.
There were so many
The germs.
I understand that.
Oh, I do know. Oh, yeah, I did hear about Leslie Van Houten. Yeah. One of the Charles Manson family members. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, how long was she in jail for?
Kohberger is anxious to have this.
How old is she now?
So I'm going to tell you, this is a little bit of a reality check. I'm just going to tell you what the schedule is. Okay?
All right, reality check.
So you'll be able to see this. So 6 weeks, about 6 weeks away from trial. And I'm going off of Mr. Thompson's motion, and maybe added a couple of things, but deadlines for completion of discovery, September 1st. Deadlines for expert disclosures under Rule 16b7 and C4, September 8th. If there is an actual alibi, then it's
If there's an actual alibi. Interesting emphasis.
required under Rule 12-1 and 19-519, September 8th.
Okay, so September 8th deadlines we got so far. September 8th, that's like what, 2 weeks? More than 2 weeks? That was 3 weeks. Oh, that's actually 3 weeks exactly from the day that this was streamed. So 3 weeks for the experts and 3 weeks for the alibi.
Deadlines for pretrial motions.
Pretrial
including
motions?
Motions in limine, motions related to the death penalty, and other motions under Rule 12B. And I'm going to say also, if your client, Ms. Taylor, decides to waive speedy trial, I'm going to have a deadline of September 8th. Because there's going to be a lot of work between now and October 2nd, and if that is in fact what's going to happen, then we want to
Okay, and if Kohberger wants to waive speedy trial, September 8th.
have that to happen earlier than later. Deadlines for responses to the motions, September 15th. Deadlines for proposed jury questionnaires, September 15th. Deadlines for proposed witnesses under Rules 16b6 and C3, September 15th. Deadline for any Rule 404B notices, September 15th. We'll hear all the motions, and I'll clear out the whole day, September 22nd at 10 a.m.
No, his alibi was that he was on a long drive, doesn't know where, doesn't know what time exactly, but he likes to take long night drives.
I'll call it first steps for death penalty qualified jury selection. I'm carving out September 25, 26, and 27.
Wait, I need to write this down. Okay. Not really quick. So we have for what the fuck. All right. So Kohberger trial. September 8 deadline, and then we have September 15 deadline for responses to motions, jury selection questionnaire. Was that what he said? questionnaire stuff. September 25, 26, 27 for jury selection, I think.
I don't know if that's enough. We'll see. Final pretrial conference, September 29 at 10 a.m. Trial, October 2nd, starting 8:30 through November 17th. This is a tight schedule.
Jesus. I mean, I knew this one was going to be a long one. So October 2nd to, they said November 17th? October 2nd to November 17th is how long they expect this trial to be, right?
Through November 17th.
Yeah.
This is a tight schedule. You all know it. But we can do it. That's what everybody wants. I'm up for it. But I'm going to clear out the deck for September. And so there may be other things that come up, including if you want to set a hearing on a motion to dismiss the indictment at this point.
Your Honor, we should set that for hearing, but we have an additional motion to dismiss the grand jury indictment for various different grounds that it hasn't been filed yet. I think it's sense to have both those motions for discussion.
Absolutely. What do you want to do?
Sometime probably 2 to 3 weeks from now.
3 weeks. Oh, here you go.
Oh, he's soaked. Oh, poor Bubby.
Two to three. Not next week. Do it next week.
I cannot do it. Do it week after.
I am.
Yeah, no, when I was a teen in like my early 20s, I used to do the same thing, like just like do like night drives as well. But, you know, being accused of murder, you know, no, it's a really shitty alibi to have.
Exactly. Because I'm trying to clear everything out. Okay, so, well, actually, we could do it the afternoon of September 1st because I had that at one point. We were going to have it. September 1st, that's a Friday. Say 1 o'clock.
Judge, we're gonna need time to respond to whatever other motions they're gonna file. So we're gonna need a due date for them with a reasonable amount of time for us to respond to any additional grand jury attacks.
When can you file?
I think we can file it probably by midweek,
Midweek,
Wednesday.
okay, August 23rd?
Yes.
Okay, let's say August 29th for a response. Is that, we're on a tight schedule.
Understood?
Does that work? And then we can still do September 1?
I'm wondering if maybe it would be wise to put it out by call. We've got a bunch of things going on the 8th, just do it on the 8th. Oh, Mr. Nye isn't available. So if it's about the grand jury, we need Mr. Nye.
He's not available, what, September 8th or?
Yeah, what I was proposing.
Your Honor, 6, 7, and 8, I'm not available. I think we could probably do it. I guess my question is just, how long is this, not like 400 pages? If it's one of those, I'm not going to be able to respond in a week, so.
Oh, please do not give me a motion of 400 pages, please. I don't have time.
It's not 400 pages, Ron.
What is it?
Not 400 pages.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that may be kind of an overstatement. Motions that we've seen on some of these issues in other jurisdictions are multiple pages, as the court can see from the one that's pending.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like maybe he was going to say that, yes, he does own that car, but maybe he was hanging out with someone and maybe someone else drove that car. Maybe that car was stolen for, you know, that day and he got it back and then he found it on the side of the street somewhere.
Dozens of pages of attachments that are taking us back into ancient history. Realistically, the court's got the same amount of time as we do to try to digest all that.
And I wonder if they can do what the Murdoch case did. Remember how they were able to contact GM and get the car data? So I wonder, I don't know how old his Kia was. Was it like 2015, 2016 or something? I don't think it was like that old. Maybe there's some data on there that they can download.
Plus, we have to respond.
I've read every single word.
Yes, sir, we've been there.
So, can we do it on September 1st? I'd like to clear it out. hey, if I'm put to dismiss the indictment, I mean, I think everybody should know that pretty soon. Also, if I deny it, everybody should know that pretty soon.
And I think our concern, Your Honor, is just we're talking about a potentially very lengthy brief being filed sometime next week and then a deadline the following Tuesday. I think that the brief deadline, I think, is potentially more concerning than the hearing date.
Okay. So you want a little more time to respond?
Well, I think they should have a deadline and then perhaps at least a week for us to
Well,
respond.
their deadline is August 23rd.
23rd, okay.
Yeah. So
If
I'm trying to accommodate everybody, trying to make everybody happy.
Hey, Juice, what are your thoughts on it? I haven't seen it yet.
Your Honor, if we could have till the 30th, then I'll just, whenever it is, I'll respond to it in 7 days.
Okay. So you could respond by August 3rd.
I'll do my very best, yes.
Okay.
August 30th.
Can't ask more than that. Did you say you're not available September 6th, 7th, and 8th?
Correct, so if we respond by the 30th, and then we can do the hearing 2 days later on
We'll make it work, Judge. I'm trying to be out, but I'll change that. That's not a problem. I'm
Okay.
according to my calendar.
I'll make it work. 1 o'clock, September 1st?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Keep the lines of communication.
Okay, so here's what I got so far. August 23rd is going to be the deadline for the defense to file the motion to dismiss the grand jury indictment. August 30th, which is 7 days after that, the state has to respond by then. September 1st is when the judge will make their decision. They're going to meet up. September 8th is going to be the deadline for any expert testimonies, Kohberger's alibi, and whether or not he wants to waive his right to a speedy trial. September 15th, a week after that, is going to be the deadline response to those motions and the jury selection questionnaire. 10 days after that, we'll have jury selection. 2 days after that, we have a pretrial conference. And then beginning of October to November 17, potentially the trial. I hope I got that right.
Communication open, okay? Just be respectful to each other. And we need some of this.
I say be respectful to each other.
And just to clarify, Judge, on the September 1st deadline for discovery, that includes also all litigation and sentencing evidence. Is that correct? Because it's all one and the same. Once we get to one to trial, there's not going to be another break. I just want to make sure that the defense and we are clear that that's the line being drawn. I don't want to get involved up in some after the fact saying, oh, well, for purposes of sentencing, we want to call this expert and this mental health person and these family friends and all that sort of stuff. That's not going to be appropriate post-trial, post-time trial starts.
Well, figure out, I think this is what was discussed when we decided October 2nd, is that the trial would be 4 weeks and then the sentencing would be 2 weeks, 8 weeks, and guilty.
I believe so.
All right. So during that period of trial, I mean, remember, I see a whole bunch of lawyers here. Maybe period. Guilty.
What did he say?
I believe so.
All right. So during that period of trial, I mean, remember, I see a whole bunch of lawyers here. Maybe.
Sorry, he's just something else.
Figure out. I think this is what was discussed when we decided October 2nd, is that the trial would be 4 weeks and then the sentencing would be 2 weeks.
Trial 4 weeks, sentencing 2 weeks. Got it. Okay.
Guilty.
I believe so.
All right. So during that period of trial, I mean, remember.
That's realistic, Judge. This case is complicated. I think it's going to absorb the efforts of all the attorneys that are standing before you right now, just on the issue of guilt. And the state, of course, needs to have time to react. The defense is going to disclose sentencing experts, is going to disclose possible things about background, mental condition, those sorts of things. Those are complicated, lengthy endeavors for us to respond to, including the possibility of having to retain other experts to rebut whatever the defense Ms. Kohberger wants to offer. And I think
He does not look like Santa Claus. Santa Laws is... Okay, Santa Laws, that was kind of good. I cook sick for all of them and spoil them rotten. They give us so much love. Oh, are we talking about the bubbies?
realistic. about this timeline, we need to suck it up and be realistic about everything. That includes the defense obligations.
I mean, if anything, he kind of reminds me of the guy from Home Alone. Do you remember in Home Alone 1, there was a neighbor that Macaulay Culkin thought was really creepy, but the neighbor ended up being really nice and awesome? I don't see the Santa Claus thing, okay? This is a fit-looking guy.
I would have a question about rebuttal witnesses for the state, rebuttal experts for the state might cause no disclosures, but I understand what Mr. Thompson's saying. Litigation is a huge complicated piece of every single capital case.
I understand too.
The street shoveler. Oh, yeah. Snow shoveler.
I have no idea where you are.
Oh my god, there's an earthquake right now. Oh my god, it's a pretty big earthquake. Hold on. Cheryl says he's okay. I don't know, or my desk is just shaking. Was there an earthquake? It's still shaking. We gonna die? You sure? You okay? You sure? I did feel that. Oh my god, we're getting earthquake and a hurricane at the same time. Okay, Cheryl says he's fine. You stay with me, okay, Cheryl? Oh my god, what is going on? Oh yeah, earthquake detected. Drop cover, hold on, protect yourself. Severe. Is it done? Where did Dennis go? Abandoned me. Oh, your parents stopped talking. Hello?
You feel earthquake?
Yeah, I have you on stream right now. Where are you?
Oh, I told you I went to go to UPS.
Oh, you already went?
Yeah, well, I'm going right now.
Oh, I just went to go get Shiro. I don't know if he felt it though. He looked like, or maybe he did. He felt like he was kind of discombobulated. Yeah.
How bad was it?
I was just sitting here and I just see everything shaking. I mean, it's probably it was just shaking, you know, but not like like not violent.
I see.
Okay, all right. Well, drive safe. I don't know. Be careful for like falling trees and shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or like bridges, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, bye. What the fuck, dude? We're in Los Angeles. Where'd you guys feel it? Holy shit. Eee! You're north in San Francisco? It was a 5.5? Wait, what is going on? Los Angeles earthquake. Oh, God. I'm scared. Los Angeles earthquake. Where do you go for earthquake times? Jesus. Ugh. Los Angeles earthquake. I don't think it's been reported on Google yet. Oh, LA QuakeBot. Is this it? September. No, this is old. Where do you go for earthquake? Los Angeles earthquake. Now. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. This is in Ojai, magnitude 5.5 at 2:41 p.m. Ojai. Oh, I've never been to Ojai before. I heard it's really pretty there. I mean, the aftershock sometimes could be even worse, right? From what I've heard, you're sitting on the toilet, so you felt it. I don't like earthquakes. USGS is good at earthquake data. What the fuck, dude? Oh, man. Hi, Storm. Sorry, I'm like... I can't tell my siblings. Dude, what the fuck? Jesus. You know, one story that has always forever scarred me. There were like really bad earthquake. There was a really bad earthquake in like 1994, I think. Was it like It was like up north a little bit, maybe like Santa Clarita area or maybe north than that. But the earthquake was so bad that there was this bridge that essentially like half of it collapsed. And I think it was a police officer that was out riding his motorcycle at like 4 or 5 a.m., like heading to work. And he didn't know the bridge ahead of him had already collapsed. And he like just drove right on it. And yeah, he obviously died. It was like really sad. We've never been on a toilet when the earthquake, but I have been when there was a blackout. What a shitty time. Toilet blackout is worst blackout. Toilet anything is any. No, the worst is when you're taking a shower. Toilet, I don't mind. When you're taking a shower, it's like really annoying. And then if your hot water shuts off, that's what sucks. Toilet liquids are confusing because you don't know if it's an actual earthquake or Taco Bell from last night. Okay, guys, we got to go back to the Idaho trial stuff. All right.
Busily working, Your Honor, very busily working.
Ugh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I don't know. I feel dizzy.
I would suggest that maybe there could be a little more time for that. I mean, the deadline for sentencing, mitigation, and all that, make that September 15th. Because there's going to be a lot to put together by September 1st. That's just 2
Yucca Valley.
2 more weeks, but it's 50% of the time, less than 50% of the time before we're going to be in this courtroom taking a hearing, and we're going to have time to work on anything else. And, you know, and once we get disclosure on their experts, we're going to have to disclose our rebuttal. And maybe we need to put that date in there. If we make all the discovery, including mitigation discovery due by the 1st, then Your Honor could have a date for rebuttal, a reasonable time after that, and still before trial.
So witnesses, that deadline is September 15th, is that what I said?
No, discovery, well, let's see. Witnesses September 15th, discovery by September 1st. And so if there are reports from experts, from examinations, mitigation studies, and that sort of thing, those would have to all be by September 1st.
Your Honor, you made September 8th, the experts.
Yeah.
Along with several other things.
So you can have response to experts on the 15th.
Thank you.
So maybe we need to move up the deadline for witnesses on the same day.
Yeah, the Japan ones were crazy. That year where they had the tsunami, yeah, it was crazy. Like the shaking in the YouTube videos were horrible. But in a way, because I thought that maybe Japan just has way better, I don't know, I feel like if you're in California, you should be fine because, like, you know, we have earthquakes here and like houses are built for, you know, earthquake, hopefully. But of the people that died in the actual earthquake itself, I think it was only like, it was a pretty low number. It was like 1%. Unfortunately, the rest of the deaths came from the tsunami aftermath. But I always thought like, oh, you know, bad earthquakes, you know, you get a magnitude, you know, like that's like high enough, all your houses are just going to come crashing down. But in Japan, like a lot of the buildings held up really fucking well and it was like shaking really, really hard. Oh, I don't know. I'm like so dizzy. I want to throw up right now. I'm such a wiener.
Lay witnesses on September 8th with response by September 15th. I thought this was so clean. Let's just start thinking about it. That's,
Oh, I think they already had their aftermath.
I'm not even promising it's doable, but it's just what we need to do. I mean, we're going to be working at night. So here we are. So,
Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it, right? We think we good? All right, I think we're good. We have our dates, and that's it for the Kohberger motion hearings. like shook it up. I don't live in California, okay, so I'm not used to these stupid earthquakes. Or I wasn't born and raised here. I'm scared of earthquakes, man. I don't want to be crushed underneath a building for days, you know, I don't know. I literally came in when Corgi went to go get Shiro. Yeah, I just want to make sure Shiro's alive, you know. Gotta make sure my last surviving Corgi is alive and nothing's gonna kill him. You live in Florida because there's no earthquakes. That's why I live here. Dude, but earthquake, I mean, Florida has like the hurricanes, man. That's scary too. The hurricanes, I mean, at least you know it's coming and you can prepare for it. But a lot of times, you know, people don't really want to leave their homes. I don't know. Hurricanes are scary too. Well, you do now. I know. I'm like thinking, I remember when I first moved to San Francisco, I had like such an irrational fear of earthquakes. I was going to make everyone wear like a bell or like a whistle like around their neck. So if we were crushed underneath the building, we can do like the whole Titanic thing and whistle your way out for rescue. I don't know. I'm more concerned about the rain than the earthquake. I'm not concerned about the rain or the hurricane. I don't know. Well, actually, maybe because even though I live in the East Coast and, hurricanes was like, okay, we dealt with it and there were some really bad ones, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if California, if their infrastructure will be ready for like a hurricane, like a bad one. We might just get fucked then. And we barely get rain too. So when I remember when a couple months ago it rained a lot, dude. A lot of the neighborhoods got like flooded. It was like super flooded. A lot of people lost electricity. Ugh. Everyone has some kind of disaster. I just feel like Japan just sucks because it's like you get earthquakes, you get tsunami. You get the typhoon, volcano. Like, I don't know. I want to live in Japan, but I'm too scared. I'm too scared to be living in Japan. Palermo. Yeah, right. Maybe I'll bug you for some consultations. Corey, you get used to them. The bats are the ones that shake up and down. Wait, what? Those bubbles are scary? Oh no. I mean, I lived in California for 6 years now, and there's been some shaky ones, but I don't know. Ugh, I don't like earthquakes. I just don't want to be, I don't want to be stuck in an elevator. That's like one of my biggest fears, man. Being in an elevator with an earthquake, I don't know, man. Just bopping up and down. Ugh. Our waters aren't really suitable for hurricanes. LOL! Should I go buy more water? Should we stock up? Japan also gets enormously close to, NK, yeah. I never been in an earthquake in my life. I've always wanted to see a tornado, though. But yeah, I think tornadoes would be really cool to see. They're so fucking beautiful. Thank goodness the date is finally locked in. I'm gonna quit work the week before. Wait, but Isle of View, it's possible that Kohberger can waive his right for a speedy trial. And I think if he does do that, then it's possible the date could change, right? That's my understanding. And then you're gonna quit you're gonna quit work? Wait. You're going to quit work the week before to watch the trial. Also buy an 80-inch Sony. Hey, if you're within the return period, you can return it nowadays. I think Best Buy and those companies stop charging for open box fee. So you can buy it and just return it. But I don't know, man. The audio might be crappy. I don't know. It might just be better off just watching on an iPad. Told your family not to call you during the month of October. And November, too. It's going to be October and November. The vertical means it's close. If it's further away, the waves are slower. Oh, horizontal waves. I know the worst thing with earthquakes is no warning. I know. I mean, they're working on they're doing a lot of earthquake researches to see if they can predict earthquakes before they come, because that would be great. But I don't know if we would have enough time to evacuate, or where would you even evacuate? I always thought if there's an earthquake, just go outside. But then I forget that like power lines can fall on you. You can get electrocuted. I don't know. What if there's like a chasm underneath you and you just fall in there? Or trees might fall on you. Honestly, there's some YouTube channels out there to talk about earthquakes and stuff. They're pretty good predictions based on the actual data. The one guy said we're bound to get an earthquake soon, so not surprised. I know, but isn't there supposed to be like a mega earthquake that's coming soon? Like a omega, like a giant one. So big that, it's going to rip California away from the US and we're going to be our own little Japan. Yeah, the 94. Yeah, it was in the 94 Northridge quake. 2 minutes of heavy shaking. ATM's out. Nobody taking credit cards. Cash was king. Oh, should I start hoarding some cash? I didn't even think about that. Well, I guess nowadays we have Venmo. Oh, but you might not have cell reception, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, for those of you guys who lived through earthquakes, let me know. What are some tips, man? I don't know. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. Gold. Ain't nobody got. Who's gonna be bartering with gold? Can we just barter with seashells, please? Let me go get some seashells real quick. Someone's gonna have cash. I hate cash, man. I haven't dealt with cash in so long that counting cash just hurts my head. Yesterday, I went to, or was it 2 days ago? I went to get my hair cut, and I paid the guy cash, and I just had a hard time counting it. I was like, wait, what? Wait, how much is this? What the fuck? And I just hate touching it. Every car alarm in the city goes off. They always say the big one is coming. I know. And I'm probably going to be living here forever. I don't know. I'm scared. I heard of a story where someone got his face sucked in an elevator because of his clothes. that person died and his face was ripped off? Wait, his face got sucked in an elevator because of his clothes? But I don't understand how that would happen. We're way overdue for the big one. Yeah, the big quake in LA was almost 30 years ago. 2 to 3 G. What? What are you, a drug dealer? Don't put the breakable things high up above your bed. Oh, I have nothing above my bed. I don't know, dude. I'm actually too scared to mount things because I don't want things falling on my dogs, you know, if I'm not home. So, yeah, everything's just, as you can tell, this frame hasn't even been mounted yet. It's just been sitting on the floor. Don't be scared to live in brick houses. I always keep at least 1 month's worth. Like, what? Where do you guys hide your cash? Underneath your mattress? In your safe? Keep at least 1 month's worth of cash on hand? Oh, jeez. I don't know. Yeah, I maybe have some coins laying around somewhere, maybe some quarters. Yeah, gotta watch out for the large shards of glass in the streets. Driving, treacherous, no lights, no power. Yeah, I was just talking about the, oh my God, it was so sad. This one story that I heard about. Police officer. Earthquake. It was like a motorcyclist. Yeah, it was so sad. So there was a bridge that collapsed and this police officer was driving his motorcycle, you know, probably just going to work the next day, you know, minding his own business, probably knew an earthquake happened, but he didn't realize that the intersection had collapsed. And so he essentially just drove off the bridge. And yeah, it was like really sad. I don't know. I like forever just remember that fucking story. Oh my God, I love the I Survive episodes. Oh yes, they're so good. I watched a couple on Twitch because I don't think I can watch it on YouTube. We're probably gonna get like striked, but yeah, watch like a little bit of it on Twitch. They're so good. Oh, they're so good, and it's always like, you know, mostly like a happy ending. I hear Korean moms hide cash on the bed. I feel like everyone, if they were to hide cash, everyone just puts it underneath the bed or something. I don't know, man. We gotta make an compartment in our walls or something. I don't carry cash. When stuck indoors, stand at the door. Oh, I heard the door frame thing. That door frames are supposed to be sturdy, but I don't know. It's chaos. The pets are nowhere to be found. Yeah, I think because my dogs, I keep saying dogs. Shiro doesn't wear, we don't put a collar on him, but I'm afraid that some natural disaster is gonna happen and then maybe he'll be like out in the streets or something. He does have a microchip though, but I want to get him a collar and maybe like a little tracking thing so I can track him. Like a collar that has his identifiers and then like a tracker on there as well. I take the collars off the dogs when like indoors. Yeah, I have like well actually no, I don't even put the collars on anymore. We used to have the what's it called? Those harnesses, you know, that they can wear, and we have the identifiers on there. But now it's just like I don't even do that. Bathtubs too, at least for tornadoes I've heard. Yeah, most definitely felt nothing. No one in my family felt the earthquake? Really? I wonder if I felt it more because I'm on the second story, maybe. Japanese keep goldfishes for earthquake warnings. Apparently, they swim weirdly when earthquake is about to happen. I feel like goldfishes always swim weird. They're like a little bit derpy. Oh, yeah. Unless, like, are they like seahorses where they swim upside down? You're safe, Corgi. I just hear so many crazy stories, you know, when people they're in a collapsed building and they're in there for 30, 40 hours. And oh my God, that's probably one of the worst things ever. I feel so bad for people. I know we gotta watch goldfishes all day. Maybe I'll just have a goldfish cam when I'm streaming. I'll buy a little goldfish and we'll just have a goldfish cam. Y'all better let me know when it starts acting weird. It starts swimming upside down. Oh, clothes can kill. It's easy to strangle someone with a piece of clothing. But how did he get his face ripped off? Like, I don't understand why the clothes wouldn't just come off. I feel like the clothes would rip off rather than just like, I guess it depends on what you're wearing and how heavy it is. After the 2011 earthquake in Japan, I was shocked. Bottled water was like $6. Oh, dude, that's nothing. $6. Dude, it was, remember the fucking, was it Hurricane Katrina? Where Hurricane Katrina, I think it was, where a lot of people were displaced, their homes were completely destroyed. And there were people, what are they called again? Not scalpers, but like it's when you go to a different state. Say like you like buy a bunch of water and stuff in your state's not suffering from any natural disasters. You like cross the state lines and you go to another state and then you sell them at like really high egregious prices. What is that called again? There's like a specific term for it. No, I'm not in San Francisco. I'm in Los Angeles. I used to be in San Francisco. I mean, I guess like I'm glad I'm not surrounded by tall buildings anymore. I used to think being around tall buildings would be really scary because what if a building just falls on top of you? But apparently the tall buildings are, if they're new, especially, they're built pretty well to withstand earthquakes. But when I talked to this woman who she said that she is like some sort of a building engineer thing and she like deals with the earthquake stuff all the time. But she says that the buildings are only able to withstand like the first major earthquake. So let's say you have a magnitude like 9 or 10 earthquake. The building will withstand that. It's the aftershock where they're not really sure if the buildings can withstand that. That's what she said. And that scared the shit out of me. I was like, wait, what? So like you're saying after the first earthquake to get the fuck out of the tall building? Like what do you... Oh, you're price gouging. Yeah, there was some really, really crazy stuff happening. I know Hurricane Katrina for sure. And there's probably some other hurricanes as well where like water, like food supplies, everything was being crazy high, like prices. I don't know. I think they start jumping out of the water. My fear is though, because like I have a gas stove. I don't know. I don't trust gas. I wish everything was electric in my house. We have a gas stove and we have a gas dryer. I just don't like gas because I just don't want things to explode and I don't want to die of like carbon monoxide poisoning or I don't know. I just have to I have a hard time sleeping at night, okay? We think about these things. I just think they start jumping out of water or something. Oh, dude, that's one of the worst things ever. When you have a goldfish and it decides to just like suicide itself and just jump out of the water. As a kid, I found some fishes that did that and it was like really sad and really traumatizing. Don't you have the emergency shut-off thing? Yeah, it's just that like I do, but like there's this one that's like on the outside that like apparently it doesn't have. Like we have one for the inside, but there's one outside. It's supposed to be like an automatic shut-off thing. And they weren't sure whether or not it was actually like part of like LA code to have it installed. I don't know, but they quoted us like $800 to do it. I don't know. We probably should just do it, right? Just in case. Emergency shut-off valve now. It's mandatory now in LA. Yeah, I don't know which one like they were talking. We had the we have like Next Gen. They do like plumbing and all that stuff. Yeah, we should probably do that. Well, no, we've gotten like honestly though, I will pay extra to get someone like, you know, professional, good, licensed to do our work because we've dealt with some really shady people and I just don't want to deal with shady people anymore, honestly. I don't know. I know you could probably go on like Neighborly or something or OfferUp. I don't know. They might have some people that have their service where you can bid on it. I think it's called Neighbor. But I don't know, man. Like we've dealt with some weird, shady people, man, that like, I don't know. I'm just so fucking over it. I'm so over it. So annoying. I hate having a house. It's fucking annoying. When you have, I think it's like when you live in an apartment, it's great because fucking, you just get maintenance. They come in, they just fix it. You don't have to worry about people coming in and trying to scare you into, you know, oh my God, like if you don't do this, you're going to die. Like I've had so many people try to like scare me into like doing stuff. And like, I'm just like, dude, you're just like ridiculous. Or they're like, yeah, if you don't do this, like your house is just gonna be mold and like, I don't know. It's just like all those like silly little things that they scare you into doing something and then they try to upcharge you or they don't set expectations and they're like midway through a project, they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, we didn't realize that you have this, this, and this. So it's actually gonna be like a couple thousands more. And it's like, how could like you should have known. Like I don't the guy that installed my toilet annoyed the fuck out of me. But anyways. You don't trust gas either. I know. I'm like, I don't like it. Oh, maintenance. Yeah, maintenance sucks, man. Maintenance sucks. I don't think it's even, I feel like it's not worth owning a home. I feel like it's worth living, you know, renting. So like find a good, you know, hopefully when you rent from like, if you really want a house, go rent from someone and hopefully they're a good landlord. They let you stay there for, you know, like 5, 10, 20 years and they don't really raise your rent that much. And hopefully they're good at, you know, if there's anything that breaks or anything that they'll get it fixed. I don't know. I feel like that's the way to do it. Just fucking rent. Rent. Buy is just so fucking overrated, man. It's like there's just so much maintenance. Like my brother bought a house and the house was built in 2016. He was dealing with some shady AC company. I don't know what the fuck happened. But ultimately at the end, they came in to fix his shit, his AC, and they didn't. Instead, they upsold him on doing some other stuff and he thought the AC was fixed. And so when they were done, my brother was like, oh, okay, so you're like, we're good, everything. They're like, yeah, it's fine. And then my brother was like, when they left, he realized the AC was never fixed. And the company comes back. They're like, oh, yeah, like, yeah, you know, there's like, your shit's like fucked up. So it's like $7,000 if you want to get a new one. And my brother was like, dude, why the fuck did I do all the other shit? My AC was broken. I just want the AC to be fixed. I just want it to be fixed. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going off right now. I mean, I think owning a home is great if you have, I don't know, man. We have like roommates. We're figuring out a way to like rent different parts. So like, you know, at least like help pay the mortgage down and stuff. But I don't know. It's just fucking headache. I'm sorry. This is just venting now. Eat instant noodles. Dude, I would have the shits and my acne would just go off. I had to cut down eating instant noodles, dude. I try not to buy instant noodles anymore, but maybe we should buy some instant noodles in case, you know, some natural disaster shit fucking hits. Ugh. The most screwed up? What? You went to get new tires when I got home. They never changed though. Oh no. Yeah, we had a very shady this guy was supposed to install our water heater. He was so fucking shady. Ended up costing us another $7,000. Oh my god. This guy was so fucking annoying. He was really shady. And then who else did I have that was like really shady? Oh man, contractors nowadays. I'm sure they had some really good contractors back in the day, but like post 2020, man, I don't know. Where are the good contractors at? Contractors are fucking shady as well. Try to suck all your money. Barter with them. Oh, trust me, we are good with bartering if needed. But the plumber, the guy that came in, because we were wondering like, how the fuck does this guy have 5 stars on Yelp? He has like 5 stars. And so this is what he does. Okay, he shows up at your home and he's like, oh, you know, I didn't realize you have this type of toilet. It's gonna be an extra $150 more. And it's like, well, you're already here, sure. And then like he causes some other issues while he's here. And then at the end, he's like, you know what? You guys seem like nice people. I'm gonna give you guys $100 off if you leave me a 5-star Yelp review. And it's like, this is what he does. He scares people. He upcharges them. And then at the very end, when people are kind of already fed up, he's like, you know what? You look like good people. I'm gonna give you $100, $150 off if you just leave me a good Yelp review. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why like I if I can find a good plumber, that would be great. But I feel like people who do work on homes, they're hustling. They're just trying to suck as much money as they can. And I'm sure there's some good ones out there, you know. I'm sure there's some good people who do the AC stuff, the plumbing stuff, whatever. But the ones that I've dealt with, you know, they just try to suck all the money that they can. You know, they try to mislead you. So I don't know. I've just stuck with Next Gen. I think they're a little more pricier, but at least like I don't know. Next Gen seems pretty good. But we'll see. Get shitty pain management. He told me that if I didn't do his 375-month diet, he'd stop prescribing my meds. But if I sold it as well, I also make money. Wait, why? Hold on. What happened to you? Your doctor? Oh, God, get a new doctor. Actually, hold on a second. Doctor's office. I don't know if this is just a thing in Los Angeles, but I think it's so fucking weird to go to your doctor's office for like a normal checkup. But then in their lobby, they're pushing Botox on you. They're pushing lip injections. I'm just like, where the fuck am I? Am I at a plastic surgeon office or am I here to do my blood work and do my physicals and checkup? It's like so fucking weird. I don't know if it's just like an LA thing or if it's just like a thing that like maybe doctors are trying to find other ways to like get more money, more revenue generated for their office or something. But like, I don't know. I just think it's so weird to be sitting there in like the waiting room and it's just like, oh, Botox injections. Oh, like, you know, like lip stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's so... It's so weird, but I don't know if it's just an LA thing. I can do basic shit around my house, replace a toilet. See, that's what we had to do. We replaced the toilet and that was a whole headache, man. The guy had to come back 3 times. I went to deal with this guy after Steve died. So I was like, I was so fucking over it. I was like, dude, I don't want to deal with this guy. Dennis, you deal with him, please. I don't know. Anyways, sorry. We're just sitting here and just ranting now. If you guys missed it earlier, we covered the Kohberger motions. The hearings on the hearing on Friday, and most of the conversation was very fruitful. At the very end, it was just earthquake that happened, and now we're just venting. So we're just venting. Dentists. Oh well, okay. I got lucky with our dentist. Our dentist is really cool, but they do try to upsell you. But I think the upsell I can get, I guess, because they're upselling you on like fluoride, which is like better for your teeth. I don't know. Actually, they fucked up though. They upsell the shit out of Dennis on something, and he didn't even need it. It was I don't know. We have a pretty good dentist now though, but yeah, I don't know. Just be careful. I don't know. I like to be trusting of people and I like to trust people's expertise and rely on them and stuff, but sometimes you just kind of have to, you know, look into it yourself, research things just to make sure you're not getting scammed and make sure you're not being overcharged or make sure you're not being over recommended on things that you just don't need. So yeah, I don't know. It's like same thing with the vet too, right? When like Steve went to the vet, there were so many things I was relying on the vet on to know. But in retrospect, if I had time to research all the shit that happened with Steve, there's a lot of things I would have done very fucking differently. But I mean, I understand the vet. There were probably really busy, probably overworked and understaffed, and shit happens. But fuck, man, yeah, you just gotta like, you just can't trust everyone. You just gotta treat people like they don't. I don't know, like they're not always looking out for your best interest, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, the dentist next door. Wait, what? The dentist next door would send his patients over to us, and let me tell you, we'd bill medical for some crap that wasn't even done. Eventually, they got caught. Wait, why did he send the patients over to you guys? Oh my God. Yeah, did you guys hear about, sorry, last story. There was this dentist that was trying to collect as much money as he can from, so like when you don't have as much, when you're low income in the United States, right? You have something called Medicaid. And basically, he was a children's doctor and his patients all had Medicaid. So the states covered, you know, the dental exams and all that stuff. He would literally, for no fucking reason, no fucking good medical reason whatsoever, he would pull out the kids' teeth to get like the medical, he would do what he would do again? He would like he would do root canals and like pull out their teeth just so he can collect as much money as he can from like Medicaid. Oh my God. Did you guys hear about the dentist from hell? It was like in Florida or something. Yeah. It was like, there's two things that you can collect a lot of money on for Medicaid. It was like root canals or something, which children doing root canals, excuse me, children. And then he would like pull their teeth out. It was so fucking crazy. Damn, crazy blood work. Yeah, I feel like my doctor's office did do something kind of shady where they billed our insurance for something. It was basically a physical, right? And I told them like, hey, I don't want to do anything where I have to pay. Like they do like an eye test, an ear test, an audio test, and some other shit that I don't need to do. I'm like, I don't need to do that. Just do the blood work and then do the usual physical stuff. I don't want to pay for whatever. But they billed our insurance for other things. And I was like, wait, we opted out of the audio thing, but they billed our insurance anyways. So I was wondering because they didn't charge us, right? They're supposed to collect like $50 from us. I was thinking like, oh, maybe they won't say like they did a service, right? Oh, it's fine. They didn't do a service, but they charge our insurance for it, but they won't charge me for it, but they'll still get the money from the insurance company. And I was like, damn, is that what you guys are doing? Because I called the office and I was like, hey, we didn't do this. And they're like, don't worry, we're not going to charge you. We're not going to charge you. I'm like, okay, but you're still billing my insurance for it. I don't know. I got to find another family doctor. Anyways, you live in the hood. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Yep. Next thing you know, they're fixing how people fix stuff with instant noodles in the DIY videos. Listen, just be careful of TikTok videos, okay? There are some weird TikTok videos out there that are like, hey, here's a life hack to do da 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 da. Just be careful. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us for the after conversation stuff. I think the stream really ended like 30 minutes ago. But if you guys miss any parts of the stream, the live stream is going to be available. We talked over, I don't know if I want to recap everything because it's a lot, but essentially there was a motion on Friday for the Idaho student murders trial. And it was all pretrial stuff. The trial is scheduled to happen in October 2nd. They say it will be around 4 weeks and then maybe another 2 weeks for sentencing. And yeah, I think that's the major takeaway. The trial is going to happen. It's going to be October 2nd. Now, unless maybe Mr. Kohberger will decide to waive his right to a speedy trial. I don't know if that happens, then maybe the trial won't happen October 2nd. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Have a great evening. Yeah, guys, take care. Stay safe out there. And, make sure you give all your beautiful little doggos and cats all the hugs and all the love. You never know when they're going to be gone one day. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys, migrants from county in the U.S. see that it's cheaper to get them dental work in Bolivia. Oh, yeah, my mom used to do that. My mom used to go to fucking Thailand because it was cheaper for her to pay for the flight and do dental work in Thailand than doing dental work here in the U.S. But yeah, I mean, I have dental insurance, but if you have to do a root canal, bro, man, that shit is robbery. It's so expensive. I don't know. Good luck. Just take care of your teeth then. But yeah, my mom would do the same thing. She would go to Thailand to do her teeth job and all that stuff. So, but I don't know if I would. I mean, I think Thailand does decent dental work from what I've heard, but I don't know. I think I would just pay and just stay here. All right, guys, have a great one. Take care and stay safe. All right. I think we'll be back tomorrow. I think we'll be back tomorrow to do the rest of the sidebar, the Depp v. Heard sidebars. And I think we're finishing with Amber Heard's cross-examination, redirect, and Camille's redirect. And we'll probably get into the rest of her witnesses. So I think that's where we're at. You guys have a good one. Take care. For Twitch, I don't know if I'm going to stream on Twitch today. I really, really do want to play Baldur's Gate. I fucking love that game. But yeah, I think we have stuff to do. So we'll see. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Take care. I will see y'all later.